somebody has who should not be engaged in interstate outward supply, and they should not be engaged in supply of goods or services, amended version, or services through e-commerce operator, followed by not entitled to claim ITC, not supposed to collect tax from customer, should not be engaged in manufacture of notified goods, in case if they have opted a composition levy for one of the multiple GSTN, it is by default all the GSTN will be considered under composition. And very interesting to note, if they have multiple GSTN, if they file one declaration form in any one of the GSTN, it is sufficient, all will be converted into composition. So either composition levy for all the GSTN under the same PAN, or normal levy for all the GSTN under same PAN. These are all some of the important aspects associated with composition. Plus, casual taxable person, he is not eligible. Non-resident taxable person, he is not eligible. Whenever invoices are issued, in the invoice he has to mention composition levy person will not collect tax separately. He will not issue an invoice, rather he will issue something document called as bill of supply. So these are all additional points which are all associated with it. So points for our discussion. All these, if all these conditions are satisfied, then yes, that person is eligible to claim input tax credit. Sorry, that person is eligible to claim composition. Sir, in case of services, what is the difference? One difference. 150 lakhs will be read down as 50 lakhs, or it will be read as 50 lakhs. One more point to be noted down here is 150 lakhs will be considered as 50 lakhs. That is one aspect of it. There is another aspect of it, which is in case of somebody who is dealing in goods, generally though they are not allowed to do services as per that provision, when it comes to those discussion, government comes out and says that, or gave a relaxation that you do small services, but it can be maximum of rupees 5 lakhs or 10% of your previous aggregate turnover. Of this two, whichever is less, you are allowed to do, and interest income will not form part of your aggregate turnover or the turnover on which you are going to pay tax. State turnover, aggregate turnover, both will exclude interest. This is the amended version. Let me repeat, that is the amended version. Don't get carried away by somewhere if you see other than amended versions. This is the final amended version. So these are all the connected points associated. I think we have done MCQ on this. Can some of you confirm it? I think we have closed MCQs on this, no? On this topic. Super. So what we will do today, we will take it up. We will take up some of the problems, and we will practical problems, and we'll try to work it out. Those problems. One minute. No, I never spoke anything. Don't be bothered. I'm conscious of it as disabled and enabled. 1 minute. Searching a particular file. Uh, oh, Mr. R, an individual who is engaged in business, want to opt composition levy is for financial year 2020-21. His turnover details for financial year 1920 is mentioned below. To start our discussion, value of taxable supply rupees 35 lakhs. Value of exempted supply 65 lakhs. Export of services interest received 40 lakhs. Now, I'll have this as a base question and keep on improvising this question over a period of time. We are on our first note discussion. Our first note of discussion is at this question level, first level. Yes, no doubt. Can Mr. R is eligible to claim composition levy for financial year 2019. Oh, first question is a very basic question. See, the whole idea here is we will keep on improvising this question to a different level. That's all. Facts of the question will remain same. Just we will be keeping on improvising this question. Quick, quick. Is he eligible to claim composition levy? In case if he eligible to claim, what form he has to file? Quick, quick, quick. A very comfortable question in my view. Go ahead. Read the question properly and then give your answers. Read the question carefully. Years are all matter. Which year we are asking composition levy? Which year details are given? Vaishali, check. Lavanya, check. Shruti, check. Your answers are incorrect. Check. Harish Narayanan, check. Answers are incorrect. Ishwar, check your answer. See, the whole idea is always everybody want a student to pull down to ensure that whether his understanding is very right. Based on that facts, based on that in the mind only, every question is drafted, and this is one of that kind of question. Quick, 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 quick. A lot more can you can answer. Karthik Narayanan, good answer. Sashikant, check your answer. Srinivasan, check your answer. Srinivasan KC. Deepa, check the time limit. I think I have told that there are some errata in the presentation. Ishwar, your prima facie answer itself is wrong. Then the form number does not matter to me. Okay. I think there is a fundamental difference in your understanding. Varun, what is the form number? A very simple question. Quick, quick, quick. A lot of you are all here. If you all feel, sir, we will not take it up question, let me also not invest time on all this. Let me also move on to some factual discussion so that all the other aspects of mine is taken care. Done? Arya, check your answer. Subbalakshmi, form time limit. Quick. Quick. Now, my first question, you need to decide whether composition levy is eligible for 1920 or 2021. See, preferably whomever I call the name, whomever got a different answer, I want all of you to think for which year we are going to calculate, which year we are going to decide whether composition levy is eligible, not eligible. Is it for 1920 are we going to decide, or 2021 we are going to decide? 1920 or 2021? Quick. 1920 or 2021? 2021, we are going to decide whether a person is eligible to claim composition levy or not. To know 2021, that is from 1/4/2020, you are eligible for composition levy or not. A first question that you will ask is the completed year. What was your turnover? The completed year, my turnover was, I need to, of course, go for an aggregate turnover, no doubt about it. I need to go for an aggregate turnover. When I go for an aggregate turnover, then my aggregate turnover will be nothing but taxable supply plus exempted supply plus non-taxable supply plus zero rated supply. This is what the conventional principles of aggregate turnover will mention. So whatever I have here, taxable supply is 35 lakhs, exempted supply is 65 lakhs, and export of services again a kind of taxable supply or otherwise called a zero rated supply. Interest received is an exempted supply, but for the purpose of composition levy, only for the purpose of composition levy, I highlight to you only for the purpose of composition levy, the aggregate turnover, I'll rephrase it, aggregate turnover for composition levy will exclude interest, received on deposits, advances, loans, all that is okay. Come back. So understand you have a unique turnover. Now come back, do your calculation. It is 35 plus your 65 plus your 30 lakhs. So aggregate turnover is just 130 lakhs, which is less than 150 lakhs. He is eligible to claim your composition levy before start of financial year, before 1/4/2020, a form called as CMP 02, of course, form GST CMP 02. Form GST CMP 02 has to be filed before start of the financial year. Make yourself comfortable. You will be getting questions like this. Done. Now, suddenly you are stepping into, he is engaged in export services, turnover crosses more than 150 lakhs. He should not be engaged in services and all, only applicable for the financial year 2021. In 2021, he should not be doing services in a very big way. In 2021 only, all conditions will apply. First condition, you will verify whether applicable or not. For that, you will verify only turnover condition. Once he opted into composition levy, on or after 1/4/2020, until he opts composition levy, he has to strictly follow those conditions. Can you able to appreciate this discussion? That yes, you're all through with that. Any doubts before we move forward? If you are through with this, I can move forward to a next question, supplementary question on the same point. Done. Can we move forward? People who got different answer, make yourself comfortable. Let me quick. Yes. Can I move forward? Done. In case if Mr. R has a branch in Karnataka where he engaged exclusively in exempted supply for rupees 50 lakhs, will Mr. R still be eligible for composition levy during financial year? In the above case, in the above facts, in case Mr. R has a branch in Karnataka where he is engaged, he is where he is engaged exclusively in exempted supply for rupees 50 lakhs during financial year 2019-20, will Mr. R still be eligible for composition levy during 2021? Yes or no? Will Mr. R, Lavanya, check your answer. Will Mr. R still be eligible for composition levy? Shruti, group 2 means? I don't know. Quick. Deepika, check your answer. Pradeep, I am both group means I don't understand, Pradeep. Naveen Jacob, Ishwar, Srinivasan KC. All of you written well. Done is simple, no? Your answers are comfortable. The whole idea over here is very simple. As aggregate turnover is computed on pan-India basis, the branch office state turnover will also be included. The branch office, why so much? Branch office turnover will also be included as the aggregate turnover for financial year 2019-20 is at rupees 180 lakhs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which is more than rupees 150 lakhs. Hence, Mr. R, if he has a branch in Karnataka, is ineligible to compensation. Hope all of you appreciate this discussion. If a descriptive question is applicable to you from an exam perspective, then your answer should contain all these words, or at least it should go in this sense. If for me descriptive question is not applicable, sir, for me only MCQ is applicable, then the MCQ will be available. But your decision making will be based on this. At least at your thought level, you have to be only on this model. You cannot be on a different. Yes, Srinivasan.
So regarding our first point of discussion, we have included the 30 lakhs of export of services now, sir. Sir, that interstate supply, that point, it has to be checked only in the 2021 financial year. Present financial year, you should not be engaged in interstate supply of goods and services. Correct, sir?
How we read that point, Srinivasan? In the previous year, you should not be engaged in interstate supply, we read, or we read it as should not be engaged in interstate supply while claiming the exemption.
While claiming the exemption, sir. While claiming the exemption should not be.
So this wording of earlier year, that turnover, do matter to you or does not matter to you?
Does not matter to me, sir.
That's all.
Yes, sir. Because there where I made my mistake, blunder. So that's what I clarified it, sir.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
I'm still sticking on to the basic facts of the question. In case you want me to bring it to the next page also, I'll bring back it to the next page. Okay, in the next page we'll take up Mr. R further transactions. Okay. Now, maybe we will draft it a little differently. Mr. R who opted composition levy during financial year 2021 wants to know, can he make a stock transfer of goods from his office in Karnataka to his HO in maybe you can call this as your question number 3. Mr. R, consider this as an independent situation. Of course, the basic facts remain same. Take it as an independent question. Don't go by any prejudicial factors. Okay. Don't judge the question by any prejudicial factors. Yes. Quick. Mr. R, who opted composition levy, during the period wants to know whether he can make a stock transfer of goods from his Karnataka office to Tamil Nadu office. Quick. Simple questions here. Okay. Only 2 options are with me. If you are not going to answer quickly, you're going to take your own time. 2 things will happen. I'll stop with this one question and I'll walk away to another topic. Let me repeating you, I am warning you. At the cost of the time of some other topic, we are doing this practical problem. The question is, Ishwar, it is not able to transfer or able to transfer. Question is very simple. If he does, what will be the consequences? You have to write in that way or think in that way. Can he opt? Can he do? Cannot do. If he does, what will happen? That's all. You have to answer it in that way. Mr. Har, who has opted composition levy, want to make a stock transfer of goods. Can he transfer? He cannot transfer. In case if he transfers, what will happen? Because if you say if it is a transfer, positive answer, matter ends there. If you say no, if he does that, what will happen? That will lead to a further question. Answer that also and close the topic. That's all. Again, Varun, you are making a mistake. You are again coming out and saying to me a very simple answer. No, sir, he cannot transfer. Then I'm asking you a further supplementary question. If he transfers, what are you going to do? Karthik Narayanan, nice answer. Naveen Jacob, nice answer. Srinivasan Casey, a small point is required. That's all. Arya, okay. John Ebby, check your answer. Very simple. One, as part of the conditions, he is not supposed to transfer. In case if he transfers, what would happen? He will cease to be a composition person with immediate effect. I only want that. These are all conditions. If a person violates that condition, he will cease. Let me repeat. He will cease to be a person. He'll cease to be a person opting composition levy with immediate effect. Understand that word. With immediate effect means the moment that contravention has happened, immediately officer will issue notice. Officer and all will not know. Officer and all, pavam. Understand. He does not know anything. He comes at a very, very later point in time in the whole scheme. Not every time officer shoulder surface you. Okay. He's not going to shoulder sniff you. Nothing of that model is going to happen here. It is a voluntary compliance. The moment the branch office supply goods to the HO, in case if it should not happen, if you opted composition week, in case if it happens, no doubt the person would cease to be a composition person with immediate effect. Coming back here, Mr. R is Mr. R being a composition levy person should not be engaged in interstate outward supply. Should not be engaged in interstate outward supply. In case if he engages in the above activity, he ceases to be a composition levy person with immediate effect. He'll be thrown out of his scheme, as simple as that. That is nothing great about it. Question number 4. A very simple question, in my view. Mr. R, who opted composition levy, want to provide services to recipient located in country. The value of such services will be rupees 6 lakhs. Can he do and continue with composition? Yes, a very important question. Can somebody opt composition levy and do services, not supply of goods, services? That too for 6 lakhs. Maximum he thinks he will do 6 lakh rupees. Can he do that? Yes or no? Quick. Dhruv, do you think all the government officers are all people who don't know anything? Sorry, we should not always think everything from current maturity level. There are enough documentation trial left in the system for to identify these transactions. Deepak, I want answer. I don't want provision. Oh, you started with that. A 10% of aggregate turnover I'll achieve. No. Mr. R, who opted composition levy, want to provide services to recipient located in foreign country. Okay. The maximum value of that services will be 6 lakhs. Can he do so? Quick. Ishwar, he can continue with composition supply. Check your answer. Deepika, check your answer. Vaishali, I want answer very clear cut. You are saying no because it exceeded 5 lakhs or because it is a foreign recipient. Vidya Shankar, nice answer. Karthik Narayanan, nice answer. Ishwar, check. Ishwar, check. Cyril, check your answer. Reasoning is different. He can do Sashikant. Good. Subhashini, answer is right. Good. See, a lot of you are all clear, but a few of you still have that service means that word of 5 lakhs comes. Understand, one of the condition is the supplier during the composition time, he should not be engaged in interstate supply. The moment foreign country comes, your recipient, when recipient is located in foreign country, then it will be treated as export of service. All export of service are liable to, all export of service are liable to, all export of services are interstate supply. End of the day, he is not eligible to provide services, provide export of service and continue with composition. Cumulatively, both is not possible. Let me repeat. Cumulatively, both is not possible. Done? Yes. I'll change the whole facts of this question. This question number 4. Only one word I'm going to change here in question number 5. I want all of you to answer. Let me repeat. A lot of you should answer again and again. People who are regularly answering, those people are alone answering. Intention is not for those 8 or 10 people to answer. They will in any case answer. Even if I don't discuss also, they will answer. Okay, they will prepare at their end. But for rest of the all others, I know who are all like me. Okay, angalla romba busy. Okay, for those people only the question is. Only one change I make here is Mr. R, who opted composition levy, want to provide services within the state to recipients. The value of such services will be rupees 6 lakhs. Can he do so and continue with composition levy? Question number 5 is a deviation. Having opted composition levy, can he do so? Quick. Divya Shri, you're pursuing CA, CMA, CS. Divya Shri, you're pursuing. Lavanya, check your answer. Harish Narayanan, check. Mr. R is basically a supplier of goods. So don't convert him into a service provider. Mr. R originally, as we discussing, is a supplier of goods. Now he want to provide services additionally. You have to read the question in that way. Mr. R earlier year, before that year, he is into some kind of trading businesses in that way. Shivanasan KC, the 10% of aggregate turnover number என்ன சார் அதுக்கு நீங்க போன ஸ்லைடுக்கு போனோம் சார் ஓகே போயிட்டேன் அதுக்கு நம்பர் பார்த்து Karthik Narayanan, beautiful answer. Quick. Vidya Shankar, nice answer. Srinivasan, KC, revised the numbers are right. I have shared with you one of the answers that I have received. Seems to be in touching every point, but last on the closure remark, maybe you can add it over there as hence they are eligible to claim. I mean, they can supply these services and continue with composition levy. That one word was missing there, but for it, almost all words are all brought in over here. And the intention of the answer seems to be very good. When you are discussing a situation question, to the extent possible, try to address that particular case with that name. Okay, to the extent, what extent is possible. Mr. R can do services because so the maximum amount for which he can provide services is up to rupees 10% of value of aggregate turnover in previous year, which is rupees 130 lakhs was the basis into 10%. So he can provide services to domestic recipient within the state for rupees 6 lakhs eligible amount of rupees. Understand a little elaborative point. Question number 5 is the most important question. There is a high possibility that it would be tested in exam. A very, very high possibility that yes, it would be tested in exam. Yes, Srinivas.
Sure. So in this question, he is engaged in under section 10, subsection 1, supply of goods, sir. So in that case, one supply of service food is allowed, they have given, sir. For the supply of service food also, this limit will apply, sir.
No, no, no.
Yes,
This is
sir.
any service other than that services,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
including construction service.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Done?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yes. We will get into the last part of our discussion on composition levy, practical problems. Mr. R, a trader who has opted composition levy for financial year 2021 has provided the data for Q1, which is technically April to June 20. Calculate the tax payable for Q1 of financial year 2021. Also mention the same need to be paid by filing which form and within what due date. All exhaustive problem. A good problem. Yes. Our last question on composition levy. We have discussed varieties of questions. This is our last question. Mr. R, a trader who has opted composition levy for financial year 2021, he has provided the data for Q1, April to June 2020. Value of taxable goods, value of exempted services, value of interest received. All that we need to do is calculate the value and on which we need to determine what is the tax payable and also say in which form within what due date it has to be filed. I think we have discussed all 3 points. Over to you. Quick. First, maximum 6 minutes. Maximum itself 6 minutes. MCQs and all are coming like this. They give the numbers and they give you 4 options, different rate. You need to work it out, arrive number and select the answer. That's all. For a descriptive question, you need to present the whole working itself as form part of your other answers. It's quick. Fast. Fast. 4 of you already answered. Good. Subbalakshmi, you have not understood the question. Kindly read the question and answer it. Karthik Narayanan, on amount calculation alone, I have doubt. Otherwise, answer is true. Karthik Narayanan, check whether you have a data entry error. John Abbey, tax payable is 20 lakhs. Padidripi, Cyril, 20 lakhs. Due date is also wrong. John Abbey, form number is wrong. See, these are all you have to be careful. Srinivasan, date. Aisha, I want tax payable, not turnover. Tax வேற turnover வேற. நீங்க என்ன அடிக்கிறீங்கன்னு பாருங்க. 20 லட்ச ரூபா turnover, 20 லட்ச ரூபா tax கட்டணுமா? Naveen, I don't know, Naveen, why you wrote the first line. Question itself is very clear. Mr. R, a trader who has opted composition levy. You no need to test once again whether he is eligible for composition levy or not. Duru, check your tax calculation. Form number is missing. Srinivasan, due date is wrong. Duru, form number is true. Revise the answer. இல்ல ஸ்ரீனிவாசன், நீ ஜெனரல் டியூ டேட் சொல்ல. நீ வந்து இந்த எக்ஸ்டெண்டட் டியூ டேட்லாம் சொல்லாத. அதெல்லாம் வேலைக்கு ஆகாது. அதெல்லாம் நம்ம படிக்க போறது இல்ல. எக்ஸாமுக்கு ஜெனரல் டியூ டேட் தான் படிப்போம். Extended due date is an additional information. In my view, not relevant. Somebody should not test you at all because that is applicable only for that period. Aisha, check your amount. Check your due date for return. Done. Waited for all of you except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 people. Except 4 people, all of you fallen in that trap. See, when already the question discussed about that person is a person who is into composition levy, I don't know why you are all once again working for composition levy. This is a question which discusses about your tax computation. Now, if a person is a composition levy and if he is a trader, he is liable to pay a composition levy. He is liable to pay a composition levy at the rate of 0.5%. 0.5% of tax, 0.5% on state taxable turnover. On state taxable turnover. What do you mean by state taxable turnover? Here, value of taxable turnover will be rupees 5 lakhs. Okay, rupees 5 lakhs will be your taxable turnover on that 0.5%, of course. It comes up to CGST of rupees 2,500. A lot of you got it. I mean, about 5 of you got it. SGST of rupees 2,500. Done? Yes. Form GST CMP 08 self assessed payment of tax. This form has to be filed on or before 18th day from end of quarter. Technically, 18th July. Now, why I'm highlighting you here is these dates are all got extended by notifications. What I had discussed with you is general date. Okay. For example, this return, 18th July return itself, just for your information only. Okay. Got extended till 31st November. Sir, 18th July return. Yes, 18th July itself got extended till 31st November. So, see, it got postponed to June, then to July, then to August, then now to November. So, in my view, it's you no need to know what is the current date and all because of this pandemic. All due dates are getting extended. So, you need to know something which is as per the law. What is as per the law? 18th day from the end of subsequent period. Check where you are. I'm living at your level itself. Where you are, you check for yourself. Come back here. Address the same question in a different mode. In the above question, if Mr. R is a manufacturer, Mr. R is a manufacturer. Quick. In the above case, just quick, fast. Good, Sai Venkat. See, virtually somebody can do it. Everybody can do it. It's up to you to take a call. Saubhagya, good. Got a right answer. Quick. Fast. ரெஃபரே பண்ண கூடாது. இன்ட்யூஷன்ல வச்சுக்கணும் ஆன்சரை. Super Karthik Narayanan. Nice answer. Srinivasan, good. கலக்குறீங்க. Quick, fast. 4 ஆன்சர் தான் வந்திருக்குது. இப்படி வர நம்ம ஆன்சர் டே பெரிய கால்குலேட்டர் வேணும், அது வேணும், இது வேணும், விளக்கண்ண நம்புறது. Quick, Sushmita, good. Cyril, check your answer. Ishwar, check the presentation of the answer. Check the presentation of the answer. Are you going to present like this, or you need to? I think one money will go to one government, another money will go to one government. I am not finding fault in your answer, but there is a presentation. If it is apple, apple, orange, orange. If you want to say apple, orange, mango, apple, orange, mango, you have to say. You cannot club it and say fruits, because apple is under a different head, orange is under a different head, mango is under a different head. So that apple, orange, mango relationship you need to maintain everywhere. Quick. Fast. I have to go to our next topic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of you only answer. This is not the level at all. Answer. Aisha, right now. In fact, this answer you gave it for that question. That answer need to be revised. Guru, check your calculation. Something goes wrong. John, correct. Shankar, correct. Ishwar, CK, correct. Quick. 20,000, CGST 10,000, SGST 10,000. Your in case if you are going to be a manufacturer, then a composition levy will be at the rate of 0.5% as CGST and SGST each on state turnover. I am happy that a lot of you excluded interest, either by choice or by chance. I don't know. Okay, if it is by choice, then good. But let me also highlight, you have to give a reference for that. Okay, when preferably if it is a descriptive question, a reference is mandated. State turnover, total turnover, excluding interest. Very specifically coined term. State total turnover excluding interest will be rupees 5 lakhs plus rupees 15 lakhs, which is nothing but 20 lakhs. That into 0.5%. Rupees 10,000. See, only point to be noted here is your interest exclusion should be, you have to be very clear that even when you calculate state turnover, interest will not be added. Okay, because this was not the original proposition. This is a new proposition effective from 1st February 2020. This is a new proposition. This was not an old proposition. A very, very new proposition that the state turnover or your aggregate turnover will exclude interest received. Both will exclude your interest received. Yes. Apart from interest, if I received any other exempted supplies, all will be included. Only interest income will be excluded. True. Can we move forward? Yes. How many of you all excluded interest by choice? Choice, not by chance. Choice. By choice, how many of you all excluded interest? Sir, after you deliberating on that point only, it strikes to me. Good. Good. Okay. Good, good. People who got almost right are all on this line. Yes. Happy for you all. So this is just a sample of various practical problems. Okay. All these are all adjustments will change. Otherwise, prima facie basic discussion would remain same. Yeah. What we will do is we'll make a fresh beginning towards a topic called as reverse charge mechanism. Sir, what is this topic? See, you all are aware that there are certain see, I hope all of you are all already aware that when it comes to levy is concerned, there is a unique kind of levy called as reverse charge. And when it comes to this reverse charge, we broadly classified as reverse charge on notified goods, reverse charge on notified services. What are those notified goods? Maybe on the other day when we saw, we would have seen some products, cashew nuts, BD leaf, tobacco, raw cotton, or yarn, silk yarn, lottery ticket, used vehicle, or seized goods by the government, or a PSLC certificate. That would sum up the discussion. Now, in case of these goods, what should I concentrate, sir? You have to remember what is the goods. You should also remember the status of the supplier and the status of the recipient. If you carefully see status of the recipient, generally is registered person. Status of the recipient is generally is registered person. But status of the supplier is not like that. See here. See here again. Supplier is a manufacturer of silk yarn. Supplier is state government union territory. Supplier is going to be central government, state government union territory. Supplier is going to be any registered person. So a status of the supplier, product, status of recipient. If all three are in tandem, then only the recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. How much ever I discuss this topic, we will not get that feel and connect of this topic. When you get into some example discussion, by the time you will get it. It could be cashew nut, it could be BD leaf, it could be tobacco leaves, it could be raw cotton. 4 agricultural products I take, all are called as cash crops. Yes, sir. I read this somewhere, sir. Cash crops. Okay. Whenever you produce, it can be sold. Cashew nut, BD leaf, tobacco leaf, and raw cotton. These cash crops, I mean, don't be bothered about cash crop word, forget it. These items, when it is supplied by an agriculturist, recollect, we have defined the term agriculturist when we discussed the definitions. Some of you, in fact, has highlighted to me, sir, why we need about agriculturist? Any person who is engaged in supply of goods or who is engaged in harvesting the goods and producing the goods, that fellow is called as agriculturist. In his own labor, by himself or by a family member of him, that product is produced. So coming back here, when an agriculturist supply cashew nuts to a registered recipient, when an agriculturist supply BD leaf to a registered recipient, when an agriculturist supply tobacco leaf to a registered recipient, or an agriculturist supply raw cotton to a registered recipient. In all these circumstances, the supplier will not pay tax. To the contrary, recipient will pay tax under reverse charge. Recipient will pay tax under reverse charge. When supplier is an agriculturist, product supplied is this 4 products. Recipient is also a registered person under GST. Haldiram's India Private Limited, a company which is known for its edible preparations, various edible products they make and sell. Haldiram's India Private Limited purchased from Mangalore, cashew nuts. 100 bags of cashew nuts, raw cashew nuts, not cleaned, not peeled, raw cashew nuts. Okay. Now that raw cashew nuts from the agriculturist, they procure who? Haldiram's. Now, we have 3 things here. Supplier of the goods, 100 bags of cashew nut, agriculturist. Product, cashew nut. Recipient, Haldiram's India Private Limited. Now I come before you. Who has to pay tax to government? Liability to pay tax is with supplier, agriculturist, or recipient, Haldiram's. Product is cashew nut. Quick. Who has to pay tax? Haldiram's or agriculturist? Who has to pay tax to government? Haldiram's and all big time business. Okay, they do a turnover of 1,800 crores. So don't come out and think he is registered as a 1,800 crores. 1,800 followed by 7 zeros is the turnover size. As you all very rightly said, Haldiram's is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Can able to understand? You will see a transaction. After seeing the transaction, you have to decide now supplier has to pay tax or recipient has to pay tax. Understood? Sir, is the game is that all? Yes, the game is that all. We'll move forward. This time, it's not cashew nut. This time, it is cotton. Mr. R, a small trader, sold cotton to Mr. P, a big trader. Mr. P is doing a big time business of 100 crore of trading in cotton. Mr. R does a very small turnover. In fact, Mr. R does a very, very small turnover. Mr. R, a trader, let me repeat. Mr. R, a trader, sold goods. Mr. R, a trader, sold what goods? Sold cotton, raw cotton, to Mr. S, a big time trader, who is also a registered person. Who has to pay tax? Or I can rephrase the question also. I want to know from you, who has to pay tax? 1 minute. Oh, one. Mr. R, a trader who supplied goods to Mr. S. Yes. Duru, check your answer. Shruti, check your answer. Ashwini, check your answer. The question that I asked is appeared already in exam. Ishwar, check your answer. Deepa, check your answer. Kavya, check your answer. Subhashini, check your answer. Shreya Varshini, no. 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 Raw cotton, let it be an agricultural produce. So what? Arun, check your answer. Cyril, nice understanding. Sai Venkata, check your answer. Shruti, Aisha, check your answer. See, come on, Deepa. Both R and S will not come at all. I already told. I think this is the nth time I'm repeating that at no point in time you cannot ask two people to pay tax. Let me go back to my fundamental question. The question is something like this. The question comes out and highlights to you, Mr. R, a trader, sold raw cotton to Mr. S, a big time trader who is also registered. Who has to pay tax to government is going to be the question. Or in other words, I can rephrase this question. Does RCM is applicable or not? Raw cotton, no doubt, is a notified goods. Recipient is no doubt a registered person. But also kindly understand, your supplier has to be agriculturist. In the facts that I given to you, Mr. R is a small trader. Understand how exam is going to test you. If you're going to brush it and go, you can't escape. That to MCQs and all very clear. Pointed question. This was an MCQ. Mr. R, a trader who's a small time trader who sold goods. So at no stretch of imagination, I don't want any of you to come out and take any positions. Again, kindly understand, if a product is exempted, then it is a duty of the exam person to highlight to you. Maybe at a CMA level, I do agree with you. You have to know which product is exempted, which product is taxable. Just for your information, don't have in your mind all agricultural produce are all exempted. First, rub. Who told that? Who told that? Nobody told like that. Selected agricultural produce alone is exempted. That too, many times it is in its original form only is exempted, not in a other form. So make yourself more comfortable and then start answering. So come back here. In spite of agricultural notified goods is there, in spite of recipient is a registered person, RCM will not be applicable. It is going to be the responsibility of Mr. R. Okay. Mr. R will not be registered or Mr. R will not pay tax because he does a small turnover less than 20 lakhs of threshold. Maybe once he crosses 20 lakhs, he will register and pay tax under forward charge. As of now, for our discussion, we will close. Mr. R is liable to pay tax. I am more bothered about only that. Among the two people, understand, agriculturist is important for reverse charge. Agriculturist, that side, registered person. Done. Can we move forward? Once again, a next question to wind up this topic. Wind up this discussion, which is Mr. Yes, an agriculturist. has supplied 100 bags of paddy to Mr. R, a trader who is also a registered person, who is liable to pay tax. Quick. Mr. S, an agriculturist, supplier S, has supplied 100 bags of paddy to Mr. R, a recipient, who is a trader, who is also a registered person, who is liable to pay. The quick. Deepa, check your answer. Dheeraj Sonu agreed. So what? So who is liable? We want the liability to be fixed. Ishwar Jawahar, check your answer. Ishwar CK, Ishwar P, Ishwar CK. Both of you check your answer. Sri Lakshmi, check your answer. Duru, check your answer. Pradeep, check your answer. See, these are all known traps. We know. இங்க தான் உழுவீங்கன்னு கரெக்டா அங்க ஒரு ட்ராப்பை கிரியேட் பண்ணா கரெக்டா வந்து கொத்தா விழுந்துருவீங்க. மச்சான் பேப்பர் செம்மையா ஆயிட்டு வந்த மச்சான், மார்க் மட்டும் போட மாட்டேன்றான் மச்சான், திட்டு போய் மச்சான். எழுதுனதெல்லாம் ரைட்டு. ப்ராடக்ட் இஸ் வாட்? Agriculturist is there, registered person is there. Product is what? Is it a notified goods? Not a notified goods. Sir, இப்படி எல்லாத்தையுமே பார்க்கணுமா? எல்லாம் பார்த்தாதான்ப்பா ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ். இல்லனா forward தான். That's what I am saying. No, it is not applicable universally. It's not for all agricultural produce. Sir, can I remember like that? No. Selected product, hand-picked product. I would not say hand-picked. Cherry-picked products. They have picked up very clearly. Only for these 4 items, the status should be like this. Next to 2 items, different status. Then next item, different status. Now here, agriculturist was there, supplier. Recipient was there, who is a registered person. But product is not notified. When product is not notified, again what is not applicable? RCM is not applicable. When RCM is not applicable, you will go back to again what? Supplier is liable to pay. So go back. Mr. S is liable. See, a handful of you also answered it favorably. Again, handful of you also is on equally divided. If I get a first answer, yes, then next answer R. Yes, R, R, yes, R, yes, yes, R. You have to see my chat, then only you will know. Consciously, that's all disabled because of various other challenges. A lot of you have a good grip, but a few of you, your grip has to be increased. Done? Can we move forward? Sir, idukapra edavadhu irukka sir? Aha, onnum illa. You have to go to the next slide for discussion. Bah. 9:30 maximum. Coming back here, getting into a next reverse charge. As far as another reverse charge is concerned, this time little different. Any person who manufactures silk yarn from raw silk or silkworms for supply of silk yarn. In other words, that person who do that sericulture activity, manufacturer of a silk yarn from the raw silk or from the silkworms. So product is silk yarn. Product is silk yarn. Supplier should be manufacturer of a silk yarn from that raw silk or silkworm. Followed by recipient is going to be registered person. No great change in recipient. Manufacturer of a silk yarn supplies silk yarn to a recipient. Then the respective recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Respective registered recipient, of course. We generally understand everyone who is liable for reverse charge will get automatically registered, but at a later point you will know, but this is, you have to understand. On the forward supply, up to 20 lakhs threshold is there. Like how you have a salary basic exemption, you have a threshold is there. Once somebody crosses that threshold, they will get themselves registered. Like how you have some mandatory provisions, here also you have some mandatory provision. This 2.5 lakhs is not applicable. This 20 lakhs is not applicable. Like how 2.5 lakhs is not applicable, this 20 lakhs is not applicable. You have some mandatory postings. So based on that mandatory portion, some people will get themselves registered. You no need to bother about it. Your question will say very clearly, recipient is registered or unregistered. That is your decision making point. Sir, if I have a answer, if I have a question which says recipient is unregistered, you can take a different view, no doubt about it. You can comfortably say your recipient, if your recipient is going to be unregistered person, you can comfortably say this RCM is not applicable. But mark my word, generally it will not be like that. For which you have to stay with me till a topic called as registration. After 15 hours later, we will discuss the topic. On the part B, first topic is registration. At that time, when we get into section 24, you will know who has to get themselves registered mandatorily. You have a list. On that list, one of the fellow is reverse charge fellow. So coming back here, any person who is going to make a silk yarn out of a raw silk or manufactures raw silk, raw silk, and from that makes a silk yarn. That person, when he supply goods to another registered person, being a recipient, then the recipient is liable to pay tax under the reverse charge. That no. We'll take up a situation where Prakash Silks and Sarees company, which is involved in buying and selling of silk sarees. This Prakash Silk Sarees purchased 100 sarees from a weaver. A weaver, Mr. W, has supplied 100 silk to Messrs. Prakash Silks and Sarees Private Limited, who is liable to pay tax. Mr. W, a weaver, has supplied 100 silk saree to Messrs. Prakash Silks and Sarees Private Limited. Who is liable to pay tax? Yes. Quick. Silk saree. Come on, quick. Mr. W has supplied. It is Mr. W liable or Prakash Silks and Sarees is liable? Who is liable? Ishwar, check your answer. Dheeraj, check your answer. Ishwar P, check your answer. This one the paddy question, Mari very better question. See, understand here, the product is what? Silk saree. Product is not silk yarn. Understand, RCM is applicable only in case of silk yarn. Now we'll go to another leg of transaction. From Mr. Yes, the weaver purchased silk yarn. Then the weaver, who is a registered person, will be liable to pay tax. So understand, with this silk yarn, with various other fabric threads, a silk saree is made. With silk yarn and various other threads, a silk saree is made. So now a weaver who purchased it from a manufacturer of silk yarn, then the weaver is liable for reverse charge, not the, again, all this. See, these are all the aspects that need to be taken care. Make yourself more comfortable. Supplier, product, recipient. All three are important. In reverse charge, all three are important. Then only you can answer it. In the question that has been asked to you, no doubt, Mr. W. Weaver is liable to pay tax under forward charge as it is a silk saree. RCM and all is not applicable. Straight away not applicable. We have another two more entries. We would not take it up today. We will take it up in our next class when we meet, and then continue with another set of reverse charges on various services. Thank you all for effective and patient listening. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, that day when